turning the Sony FX3 from this into this. So over the past few weeks, month-ish, I've been working away with this new build for the Sony FX3, hence why I haven't been in here recording YouTube videos like I need to be. And I gotta say, it's been an absolute game changer, so let's get into it. So firstly, we're gonna start off with the why this was built and really where it came from, and then we're gonna get more into the piece by piece and actually get in depth into the build itself. So really there's two reasons that I got into this build. And so firstly is functionality, I mean, of course. And then second, even though this may sound a little bit superficial, it goes a lot deeper than that, so hear me out on it. But the second one is impressions. As far as functionality goes, I wanted to be able to power everything from the body. So many times I'm having to worry about charging up my batteries, keeping a charge for my monitor, my camera, my phone I like to mount on top, and it's nice to just have a powerhouse to where I don't have to worry about anything dying on me in the middle of a touchdown shot ever again. And that's so real. I know a lot of people like to take the route of the rods that go on the bottom of the camera for when it comes to things like V-mount battery and whatnot, but I really wanted this body to have the look of just looking like one big camera body. I'm a big fan of the build of the Sony FX6. I don't exactly want an FX6 for reasons we'll talk about in a little bit, but I love the build of the body of the FX6. I love the top handle. I love the weight distribution, XYZ. And I really wanted my FX3 to kind of have that same build and look like one big camera instead of like a huge gap in between the camera and the V-mount and whatnot. You get me? And also throughout, I added a few points of grip that we'll talk about in the breakdown a little better. So it's really, really versatile in the different ways that you can carry it. All right, and so reason number two, like I said, it's a bit superficial, but impressions. Really, like I said earlier, I wanted an FX6. When I really started looking to it, I was like, well, I don't want to lose things like in-body stabilization. Whereas, you know, if you're shooting sit-down interviews, that may not matter for you as much. But when it comes to 4K 120 frames per second, a lot of people don't even really need that. But on the Sony FX6, when you're shooting in 4K 120, you can only do that in S&Q mode. So that means the whole video is slow motion, and you don't get any sound with that. And for me, for the jobs that I work, I very, very often need sound, especially in sports. The atmosphere is everything. And so I start thinking about certain things like that. You know, there's a little more I could go on, but I really like my Sony FX3. And I was like, well, the only thing is that like when I show up, as impressive as the Sony FX3 is, and the image quality is great, it looks extremely close to FX6, all that, you know, I still look like I'm coming with my mirrorless camera and not the cinema camera that, you know, it claims to be, versus when you show up with a camera like a FX6 or even something like a FS7 or something like that. Once you just have that camera body, people are like, oh snap, what kind of camera is that? I mean, and it gets you, those impressions, they get you jobs. They get people who want to come up and ask like, hey, what are you shooting? Hey, what kind of stuff are you into? Oh, I'd love to hire you. Like the professional look that you come with, it's literally like the same as you coming in for a job interview or you coming into a job convention and, you know, looking the part with your suit and tie and your nice outfit. Like it's the same for your camera. Like if you sit there and you treat dressing up your camera the same as you would dressing up yourself for a professional environment, you know, doing that same thing to your camera, it makes a really big impression. People take you more seriously. And so as superficial as it sounds, like getting something for the look, hey, say what you want. So yes, functionality as well as impressions, which really does matter. But anyways, let's get to actually putting this together and talking about this piece by piece. And so this entire rig is centered around this Rigid Pro Cinerig, which was inspired by the Cineback. It's great, they have it for a variety of cameras, but that version was too expensive. And so this is not a cheap version by any means, but it's a very well put together different brand. It's basically two cheese plates, a V-mount, there's an on-off switch that turns on or completely shuts off the power, so there's no battery drainage at all. It tells you the voltage being output, and a cushion spot on the left side for your camera flip-out monitor. Now, you can use the two full cheese plates and add a top handle of your own choice on the top, but I went for the full Sony XLR top handle version, so I could get a full handle instead of that inconvenient half handle that the FX3 XLR handle comes with. I need the XLR, so I'm really happy to be able to have a compatible version to go with this. And it's great for carrying and getting those low to the ground angles especially. Really, really big fan of the full top handle. On that top handle, I added a little plate with a few more mounting points so I could throw on my monitor, as well as have a spot to throw on my phone or my Osmo Pocket 3 on top. It leaves a mount for my microphone or receiver as well. On both sides, I'm using the Cinerig mini handles for grips, once again giving great control over the camera direction. And while it's not the ideal way to go about it, if I needed to shoot at eye level, I can somewhat turn this into a little shoulder rig. So like I said, it's not the greatest shoulder rig, but you can see the versatility, right? We getting there. Also, on one of my mini handles, I have a shoe mount for whatever pops up as I go. So like sometimes if I use the Osmo Pocket 3, I'll use a phone on there, so I'm not trying to like touch the screen, the little tiny screen all the way at the top. And this is complete overkill, I know, but you know, hey, a lot of times I'm a one-man show. Overall, I really wanted to make this build really versatile because I do a whole lot of running, gunning, and especially in sports, you never know what angle you're gonna have to come from or what shot you need to get next. And so it's nice to just have options for whatever you need to do. As far as power goes, I power it using the Cinerig VB99 mini V-mount battery. All right, so quick disclaimer intervention that VB99, as I've gotten longer and longer shoots, it's not gonna be enough for me. It's not gonna be enough. So I literally just had to buy the VB212, but this is still gonna be great for a lot of people. So I'm gonna let this play out, still gonna let you check it. But yeah, just had to be open, honest, and transparent. And it also comes with an additional D-tap port. You have the ones on the side of the Cinerig, but you also have the one on the battery, as well as a USB and a USB-C port. So if I need to charge something like my phone while I'm in game, I have absolutely no problem doing so. I power my camera using the D-tap to USB-C from Condor Blue. I don't actually recommend getting the right angle USB-C to D-tap from Rigid Pro's website. I got it and my camera just continued to die as I was using it. So yeah, that Condor Blue, it's worked magic for me. As far as my monitor goes, I'm using the FeelWorld LUT 7, the 7-inch ultra bright monitor. Shout out to my lovely, beautiful wife for getting that for me for Christmas. It has no problem keeping up in that bright Florida sun for all the sports I shoot, and I power it with a D-tap to a DC cord. Also, I mean, I got a mic on here, but it's nothing impressive. I got this when I got my first camera. And so, yeah, that's basically my build. And so I know when it comes to cameras like the FX30, FX3, you really like that compact cinema cam mirrorless feel build to it. And that completely makes sense, but it's kind of just a thing to each his own. For me, I really like that heavier feel. I really like that, you know, cinema build. I like that full handle. And this is how I really just want to leave my camera. I'm not putting all this stuff on and taking it off. I'm putting all this on my FX3 and I'm just leaving it like that. But if you would like to see a little bit more about how I like to use my gear when it comes to NFL, NBA games, you can check out this video right here. It's before I did this crazy build though. And then this video right here is what the YouTube algorithm thinks you'd like to see on my page. So appreciate you guys for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that, and I'll holla at you.